Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is March 31st, and that means day 90 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, we continue printing out parts for that OpenRCF1 project, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 90 of the 3DP 365 project. We're still printing out parts for that OpenRCF1 project, but we're winding down. We're almost ready to start printing out those flexible tires. So MatterHackers, if you're watching, I really could use a roll of your new Flexi material. And if you want to get caught up on where we are in our prints, check out this cool playlist I created that'll get you all caught up on everything we've printed so far. And on today's episode, we're printing out some of the smaller parts. So let's head over to Thingiverse and I'll show you what we decided to print for today. Then we'll tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for the prints. Then we'll meet back here at the workbench and we'll talk about the prints. Okay folks, so here we are at Thingiverse for the OpenRCF1 project. And I'll put the links down in the description so you can download and start printing this yourself. And if you haven't started printing these, you really need to catch up with us because we're winding down here. And on today, we printed out a couple of small parts. We printed out the servo saver parts, which is this part here, and the servo holder, and we also printed out the other part for the servo saver. I believe this is called the camera, and the boom block, and we also printed out the front wheel hubs, and we needed two of these, so I printed out two of those. So those are the parts we printed today. So let's tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for some of these prints. Alright, so here we are in Simplify 3D, and I've dropped a bunch of these little models down on the print bed, and these are some small parts. And I know my gMax can print small parts because these guys turned out awesome. So let me show you my process settings for this print. Under layer height, we did our 0.2mm layer height with 3 top, 3 bottom, and 3 perimeters. We also ran a skirt around all these parts at 10mm from the object at 4 outlines. For infill, I used 30% because I wanted to make sure these little guys were nice and strong. And we did generate some custom support on one of the parts. For temperature, this is MatterHackers PRO PLA, so I use a single temperature throughout, and that's 208. And under cooling, we have my 3-stage cooling system set up. Under speed, we dropped this down to 30mm per second because I just wanted to make sure these parts turned out awesome. So let's hit OK, and let's hit Prepare to Print, and I'll show you how they all sliced. And there's our finished sliced model. It's not a whole lot to print here, so it's an hour and 33 minutes, and it actually took about an hour and 45. And we did print some other parts on another plate with these exact same settings. But if I play this through, you can see that support is needed on this little small part. And there was some support generated inside these little holes that I was able to pop out. I didn't want that there, but it generated it automatically. And I didn't notice it, so it's there. But it easily popped out. So here's our finished slice. So let's head over back to the workbench and let's talk about the prints. Alright, so you saw my settings in Simplify 3D, and I've got a handful of really small parts in my hand. So let's go over what we printed. These are the front wheel hubs, and we printed 2 of these, and they turned out pretty perfect. I am super happy with the results on these. And of course, there's 2 of them. Here's the other one. And we printed out the boom block, which I believe holds the 2 boom pieces. And that guy turned out awesome. All the little screw holes and everything turned out perfect. I am really happy with this print. And we printed out some of the servo parts, including the servo holder, and this guy turned out perfect. And the little servo savers, which are super small parts, and this one was built on support. You can see on the bottom there. It's a little bit rough, but it's a tiny little part, and it turned out really awesome. And here's another part of the servo saver, and this guy turned out really good too. Actually, this is the one that was built on support. I'm sorry. And you can see it's a little bit rough on the bottom side there. But the tiny little hole turned out perfect. Everything is good about this print. And the last thing I printed was this little camera. I believe that's the name of it. It's like a little bit of a wing. And I had a little bit of over extrusion, but this is a tiny little part and I'm happy with it, so I'm not going to reprint it. So all in all, I think our parts turned out awesome. And this MatterHackers PRO PLA in the color of gray, it prints like butter. And my gMax did such an amazing job printing these tiny little parts. I'm super impressed. Well, we've got a couple of little small parts to print, and then we're moving on to those flexible tires. And those will be a bit of a challenge, so I may be reaching out to the community for some help on those. And if I need help on some of the other smaller parts, I'll definitely be asking for a little bit of help from you guys in the community. Well, that about wraps it up for day 90 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you guys are following along and building your own OpenRC F1 racer. We're almost done and we're winding down with the smaller parts. And if you are building your own OpenRC F1 racer, don't forget to use those hashtags OpenRC and hashtag Print3Dchannel so I can see your progress up on social media. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you tomorrow.